Welcome to the Filmsteins, the double feature podcast. Join us as we unravel the interwoven experience of the continuous conversation of cinema. Take part in pairing movies with their cursed counterparts, movies that share DNA, or even pairing questionable duos by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/Filmsteins. We offer tiers at the $1, $5, and $20 level, where the $5 tier will grant the ability to request films to further the discussion. So grab some popcorn, sit back, and get ready to join the 100-year conversation. This is the Filmsteins, where movies are more than just entertainment, they're an experience.
They're an experience.
All around you. And welcome back to another episode of the Filmsteins. Thank you guys for joining us today. Today I am joined by my loser friend, Lucy.
What?
You can join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for brand new episodes of the Filmsteins. I don't know where this episode is going to go live on the timeline of Earth, but go check out our Gilbert Grape episode, our Dune Part 1 and Part 2 episode, and When Evil Lurks episode. It's a good one. Remember to leave nice comments, thoughts, and ideas over on our Patreon as well. Come subscribe, come request a movie, come right in.
Are you stressed and filled with anxiety like I am? Maybe in a bit of pain from that car accident you had a few years ago? Well, the sponsor of today's episode, Hempville CBD, has us covered. They have the highest quality products created by chemists and doctors. Hempville carries everything from CBD to THC dispensary grade without those despicable dispensary prices. Order your Delta 8, 9 edibles and vapes along with the THCA flower and get free shipping when you spend $50 or more at hempvillecbd.com. Check out the link in the description for more details.
But as business as usual, today we will be discussing Taika Waititi's 2023 film, Next Goal Wins. I don't know about you, but I am a fan of Taika Waititi. I know he's kind of controversial for some reason or another. I don't really pay attention or care why.
Probably his Thor movies.
Maybe. But Boy, Jojo Rabbit, Hunt for the Wilder People, all very good, very fun, very cool films. And I was very piqued by Next Goal Wins. I thought Michael Fassbender was a strange choice, just like Alan Grant joining Hunt for the Wilder People and Ricky Baker.
Ricky Baker.
I can't remember his real name. Sam Neill, of course, yeah. Jurassic Park dude. I just know him as his Jurassic Park name, Alan Grant.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And Laura Dern. I don't know her.
Her Jurassic Park name.
Ellie, actually, right?
Oh, that sounds right.
Because of this weird thing around Taika Waititi, I'm like, Next Goal Wins can't be that bad, right? It got middling scores, and the people who have something to say about it seem to be really kind of turned off by the angry coach being mean to the trans girl. I'm like, okay, that's fine. But after watching this movie, it's also fine. I had fun with it. I do wish we got more of a focus on the world of America Samoa, at least this world, because it feels almost surrealistic.
Yes.
I don't know what that is all about, but the world itself is extremely fun, with the cop going wee woo, the speed limit being 20 miles an hour.
Everywhere.
Everyone having multiple jobs. The big boss having just a keyboard and no monitor on his desk.
I forgot about that.
I'm just like, what is going on with America Samoa? Do we get too much of Michael Fassbender's character being mean and hating himself and accepting, his realities? I don't know. Maybe he's still at the center of a mostly complete story. So it's all fine. I'm fine with this. But I know you're a big fan of Ricky Baker. So how do you feel about Next Goal Wins?
I had such a good time watching this movie. And I know we started watching this movie as something we weren't really planning to cover. Just like a, pastime, go to bed movie. But the introduction in the movie was so, crazy and bizarre that I was like, wait, I need to watch this when I'm fully awake and paying attention. Because that was crazy. They scored, 31 goals on them? And it was one of the craziest wins in all-time history. And I was like, what the crap is this movie? And it was so fun. I liked a lot of the comedy in this movie, and I kind of had a hard time placing what kind of comedy this is because it's not slapstick, and it was hard for me to find a word for it. But I think I like what you said about it being kind of surreal. So almost like this absurdity, surrealistic humor that's in not many movies. Like the monitor thing, like the speed limit thing, like what the fuck is going on here? Almost this situational humor, but not quite. Like there's something else to it. So I like that. I like that word you use. And oh my god, it was so funny. Like the president of the association being the guy that's filming that show who's on the airplane or whatever. That just cracked me up. But I also love a good underdog movie. This is what this is.
Is it too cookie cutter in that regard? Or does it matter?
I don't think it matters. But I don't think it is. Because especially sports underdog movies that are kind of funny or kind of comedic, like Dodgeball or The Longest Yard, or I guess I could even place one of the newer movies like Gran Turismo being an underdog story and kind of having this mainly Dodgeball having this like comedic element to it. And with these movies, there's almost always someone you have to stick it to, and this like villain, in Dodgeball it's the other team with the Cobras, and they have to fight to keep their gym going. In The Longest Yard, it's the prisoners versus the prison guards. It's kind of like you have that team or you have that person that you are wanting to beat. But here we don't really have that. We just want to score a goal. That's it. That's all we care about. So in that way, it's not like as traditional. We don't even care to win. We don't care to compete. We just want to score a goal.
And in that way, it's arguably not even an underdog story because there's really no winning mentality. It's almost just a last-ditch effort to bring order, to this team, and also give the coach time to himself to kind of think about his life.
Yeah, that's very well said. And it's almost like the coach here is the underdog. Because in a lot of these movies, everyone as a team learned something. But here, it was really just the coach learning from his setbacks, learning to not give up and persevere like most other movies typically have. It's everyone doesn't give up. Everyone works as a team. But here, he's the one who's learning something from them.
And he kind of learned to give up and just
be happy.
Yeah, go with the flow.
Yeah. Which is also not a very tropey thing. Most of the time, it's you never give up. You fight, you are resilient.
I haven't seen a lot of sports movies, but this did remind me of The Longest Yard because we had these instances of we had the coach and Jaya going after like very cartoony character people, and they had their little moment and stuff. I think that happened in The Longest Yard too, and I was just like, oh man, that's kind of funny. I haven't seen a lot of sports movies, so that might be a tropey thing for building a team, but
yeah, I think it kind of is. Like, I'm getting, like, Monster University vibes where they're recruiting the losers, but they each have their own individual talents and can show what they got and whatnot. But I like that you said that because another big thing with sports movies is the montages. And that's kind of a montage, maybe not as fast, but then we have the training montages with really inspirational music and everyone finally being able to pass the ball to each other or whatever. And we have a little bit of that here too.
Yeah, it really is hard to call it an underdog story, especially because they don't even reach the qualifiers, right? They win against one team. They hardly learn the sport. They still are unable to work as a team, at least through a whole game.
I don't know about that. I think they learned a lot. Especially each individual person. We don't get a lot of feedback from them after the game, but we have the kid, I don't remember his name, but he's the president's son, and he finally learns when not to fucking dive and trip people.
That's fair, yeah.
So I think there's a little bit of learning that each individual player goes through, because there's a lot of like pauses and them actually thinking about where to throw it, and maybe a little bit more communication. I think they learned a lot, but maybe not enough, because they didn't really learn anything until the very end when the coach hadn't given up on them. I also liked all the really fun characters we have here. Usually in a team, there's that 1 or 2 or 3 people that stand out, and one's closer to the coach, and that person, which would be Jaya in this case, is the one that brings the team together. They're the glue, they hold the team, blah, blah, blah. But I like the other characters they give us here, like the police officer, and probably one of my favorites is the goalie and his backstory to this. How he was the one there. He was the infamous goalie that let in 31 goals, but then getting a bit more from him, we learned that, yeah, he let 31 in, but how many did he actually stop? Which was like 60 something, I don't know, like half. And, you know, they don't tell you that in the beginning. And I also like that he plays, I don't know what game, maybe you can tell me, but he plays a game.
Probably FIFA on the Xbox 360.
Yeah, okay. And then he beats them and he kicks their ass there every single time. And he just has this, you know, something digging at him from that loss. And he's able to come back and win. And just how therapeutic that must be from him. I like that. I like his whole story. And it's so small, but it's so good. Nicky Salupo. I think that was him. I know we recently watched Monkey Man, and we also had a community of trans people in that movie. And I really liked how we viewed them in that setting. And there's something similar here going on that I really like. And it's probably one of my favorite things that's said in this movie, besides the whole speech at the end. But Ace, that assistant coach, tells Thomas when we first are introduced to Jaya that she's one of us, but different. And he goes on to tell him to imagine a world without flowers, and that the world would be pretty dull without them, and just how they're beautiful. And again, we have this involvement of the trans community in another film from, you know, not the United States at least. And I don't know, it's just something so sweet about not being so hateful and derogatory towards them. So I don't understand why there's this hate on the coach, or maybe there's this hate around the view of Jaya. I'm not sure what the hate is. The coach is mean to everybody. He's a jerk to everybody and himself.
From what I can tell, it's the whole involvement of Taika Waititi and his orchestration of this. Why did this need to be in there, Taika, kind of thing?
Because that's what happened. It's based off a documentary. And I think the real live Jaya was heavily involved in the making of this film. And I mean, she goes on to do interviews and everything. And I think she even tweeted and social media'd her experience and just how supportive she is of this and how she loved every minute of it. So why is that not good enough for us?
That's very interesting. I didn't know that.
I also saw a lot of comments of him portraying the American Samoa people as dumb and stupid, and the inaccuracies, I guess, behind that. But I don't know if they're just getting that confused with the humor in this movie. That's what's dumb and stupid, the humor, not the people.
It's hard to say that American Samoa people are dumb through this lens because of how insane this world is. It doesn't feel like a real place. And so I don't want to be the person that says anything's fair game, but it sort of is because he is no doubt painting a very fictitious world.
No, I definitely agree.
Because this is either a Taika specialty, or maybe in his research and others' research, with Jaya's help maybe, he noticed a strangeness about the place and just ran with some of the absurd things. Because we do a lot of absurd things in our day-to-day life. If you were to kind of highlight them, condense them into an hour and a half movie. They're going to appear more often. It's going to make it feel, rightfully so, like a fictitious demonstration of whatever.
And because of the kind of lesson or message in the movie to just be happy and let go, I feel like we can also bring in maybe the saying ignorance is bliss, or how people who know less are more than likely happier. I don't know if maybe there's something behind that too, how we look at other people who are super happy and maybe we're viewing them as dumb or something along those lines. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. And that's kind of the antithesis of what some people have said about this being a white savior film, when we have Pacific Islanders saving a whitey.
Yes. He's the one being saved. Nobody has changed their life at all besides they can kick a soccer ball better. He's the one who did a complete 180. And I like that we have a very great example from his speech that he gives them at halftime towards the end of the movie, where at first he just gets so mad and he cusses everyone out and he calls them losers and whatnot. And then he reflects and talks to Tavita, the president, and he's like, we just wanted a goal, man. We just wanted to be happy. But now you're kind of like being rude. You're being mean. Like, why are you doing this? And that makes him reflect and come back and say, you know what? Just be happy.
Yeah, there's kind of this element of chill, man. It's just a game.
Yeah.
You know, if things don't work out, things don't work out. And, you know, he does say that, you know, if you don't win or score or perform, FIFA or whatever is gonna, you know, disband you guys. But
And he's just like, oh man, okay.
But I mean, does that change anything for them? They can still play soccer if they want. You know, they're fine.
Yeah.
They obviously don't care. Look at their team.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
They want to represent America Samoa, you know, in the World Cup or whatever, if they can qualify, of course. You know, every country does. That's just what we do. But obviously they don't give a shit, really.
Yeah. At the end of that speech, they break out into the song, and I will admit, I teared up. It was just so sweet. It's like, it was so sweet, but so bittersweet at the same time. And it just hit me in the feels right then.
Yeah, I also like the Samoan dance that they pull out on the field, especially the end when they're all kind of together. Because in the beginning they weren't. And
Yeah.
like Jaya didn't give a shit about participating. I noticed that right away, and then they were not totally in sync with each other, and then at the end they are.
Beautiful. Beautiful. They finally learned to synchronize. I really like that. And I especially love how we don't see them win at the end, but we're being told after the fact to the dad who had just, I thought he had a heart attack, but no, it was just a heat stroke. But it was so funny.
Yeah. And it plays up the surrealistic thing where a win in a like pre-qualifying match against rival Samoa team becomes like a legend to them on their island. It's so stupid and fun.
And everyone's watching, and they're like, they're not winning. And then they win. Oh my God, it's so good. It was surprisingly a really good film.
Is it as good as Hunt for the Wilder People?
I think so.
Oh, snap. I think that movie's phenomenal. I think this movie's not on that level, but okay, that's what's up.
I'd have to rewatch it, for sure. It's been a while. But I love Ricky Baker. Ricky Baker.
One last little tidbit that I loved was this like tribalness between the teams of hissing and kissing at each other. There's something so familiar about that across all little fandoms and fanboyisms and sports teams and shit. It's so fun, and it makes them look so silly and charming in the funniest way. I love it so much.
That was good. It makes them look like children.
Yeah. And that's fun. All right, man. Well, thank you for watching this movie with me and talking about it here today.
You're welcome.
Do you have a budget guess for me?
Yes, my budget guess is $10 million. I just pulled it right out of my
Ankles.
ankles.
It says here that it was 14 million. So not too far off. A little far off comparatively, but that's not too bad. Good job.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't say like 50,
It apparently went on to make 18.6 million.
Good.
And with 88,000 people over on Letterboxd, they gave it a 3.0.
Hey, that's what I gave it. I'm right on average.
There you go. I'm somewhere between a 2 and 2.5.
Yeah, I was leaning towards a 2.53, but man, you know me. If it can make me tear up, you got that extra half point. Something you did hit me.
Well, thank you again for watching this movie, and thank you guys for listening to this episode of the Filmistines. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Remember, we post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on patreon.com/Filmistines, Spotify, Pandora, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Remember to leave nice comments, thoughts, and ideas, too, on our Patreon. Come subscribe for $1. Tell your friends. Request a movie. Come request a movie. Come request The Lobster, Yorgos' movie, yeah? We appreciate all the support. Thank you guys very much. But until next time, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Filmistines. Thanks for tuning in and joining us on our cinematic journey. We hope you enjoyed the discussion and gained some new insights and perspectives in the world of movies. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform, especially Patreon, at patreon.com/Filmistines, and follow us on social media for more film-related content. We love hearing from our listeners, so if you have any feedback, suggestions, movie recommendations, or book recommendations, please feel free to reach out to us. Until next time, keep watching, keep loving the magic of movies. This is the Filmistines signing off.